Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, October 4th, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. A strong earthquake at Bárðarbunga just hours ago is keeping us awake at night as we keep a close eye on Iceland. Typhoon Koinu just slammed into Orchid Island, Taiwan, with wind gusts of 213 miles per hour, and it looks like the Northeast is going to be experiencing record flooding in the coming weeks. Keep calm. It's boom time. A cold October may be on its way for the East Coast, and now Tropical Storm Philippe is headed its way towards Bermuda and eventually towards Maine. It's insane. Tropical storm conditions are expected on Bermuda beginning early Friday morning, and a tropical storm warning is now in effect. Heavy rainfall will begin to affect the island on Thursday. Philippe is likely to move over portions of Atlantic Canada and eastern New England, likely as a post-tropical cyclone this weekend. Regardless of Philippe's intensity or structure, interests in those areas should monitor the storm's progress and be prepared for the possibility of strong winds and heavy rainfall. Severe thunderstorm and flood threat for the southern plains. A cold front arriving into the southern plains and Arklatex will produce severe thunderstorms, excessive rainfall, and flooding today. The severe thunderstorms will produce large to very large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado in parts of Oklahoma or Texas. The heavy rainfall and flood threat, moderate risk, will impact the Arklatex area, especially northeast Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, and southeast Oklahoma. So heed the warnings and click on your county for more information. Now let's take a look at the total precipitated rainfall through the next few weeks. There we can see Tropical Storm Philippe making its way up the East Coast like the most and bringing heavy rain to New York State as well as eastern Maine. And those totals are showing between 3 and 5 inches in many areas. But a secondary system is going to move up and across and bring up to 12 inches of rain in the next 10 days to many of these regions, especially eastern New York and central Pennsylvania. So heed the warnings. It is going to be a moist October through October 16th. Now Taiwan braces for Typhoon Koinu. Who knew? Now you do. Typhoon Koinu just slammed Orchid Island. Boom, right there, with a wind gust of 213 miles per hour, and it is moving its way to the southern tip of Taiwan. After skirting north of the Philippines, Typhoon Koinu approached the southeastern coast of Taiwan on October 4th, 2023. The storm was forecast to make landfall on the island the following morning. The moderate resolution imaging spectroradiometer sensor at NASA's Aqua satellite acquired this image of Koinu at approximately 1 p.m. local time, October 4th. Its eye was 200 kilometers or 125 miles off the coast of Taiwan, and it is now hitting Taiwan as we speak. There's not a lot of pictures of flooding coming out, but there are some pictures of this guy trying to hold the doors closed. Crazy. And this is at the hotel okay here.
You sure you?
Pretty terrifying as this storm is making landfall right now on the southern tip of Taiwan. Now take a look at this. Svalbard, clandestine. The coldest September in Svalbard in 18 years. That is a sign of the times and certainly not one of the global warming climate alarmists. Now moving on to a strong earthquake at Bárðarbunga. There she blows, right on the Vatnajökull Glacier, and we're going to get to that in a moment. Let's take a look at the whole world and take a check out 6.4 in the Philippines, the only other quake of note. We do have a quake here Tiptonville, Tennessee, 2.9. That is interesting. But we want to hone our eyes up here on Bárðarbunga, where the big quake today came in at magnitude 5.0 in Honf. Now, Bárðarbunga is here, Grímsvötn is here, and the earthquake is south of Bárðarbunga and north of Grímsvötn, so not really near either of those volcanoes. We can see a flurry of activity at Bárðarbunga here being marked, so maybe the USGS is off and all those quakes are, in fact, on Bárðarbunga, but we also have a quake now at Grímsvötn, right there, boom. So multiple quakes happening now at multiple volcanoes, and we're going to keep a close eye on that, as a large quake at Bárðarbunga is allowing us to keep a close eye on Iceland for development at those volcanoes. Now, Kempi-Falegrei, the Falegrin fields, we're keeping a close eye on the seismic swarm that started about 10 days ago, decreased and then increased again and is staying at moderate levels. So those earthquakes are ongoing, and we are keeping a close eye on Kempi-Falegrei as things develop. Let's take a look at the number of quakes in the last 7 days in that region. Worldwide volcano news update. We've got Semaru to 15,000 feet, Raventador to 16,000, Sakurajima to 7,000 feet, Abiko to 11,000 feet, Ubinus today to 25,000 feet, Sabancaya to 27,000, Santa Huito to 15,000, Raventador to 16,000, Fuego to 14,500, and Shishaldin's 13th paroxysm has come to a close with events at 45,000, 25,000, and 17,000 feet respectively, and the 13th paroxysm is now over. Space weather news update. The sun is quiet at solar max. Sunspots peppering the disk equatorially, a few to the south there, but no activity as far as flaring. That's good news. As we take a look at some interesting correlations to the historic past and solar cycles, this here are what are called the boxes of rain, showing differences in our average rainfall at the turn of the century and their relationship to sunspots. You have low rain in 1854, sunspot minimum. You have high rain in 1882, sunspot maximum. Low rain in 1887, sunspot minimum. High rain in 1891, sunspot maximum. Low rain in 1898, sunspot minimum. High rain in 1903, sunspot maximum. And so on and so forth. Are you picking it up? We just put it down. So if you're wondering why we're seeing these extreme flooding events, well, it could be because we are at sunspot maximum. Now, some more breaking information. Did you know about the international shipping mandates that happened just a few years ago, reducing SO2 emissions? Yeah, here you can see in 2021 that rapid drop-off in SO2. Who knew? Now you do. But what does that mean? Well, it means that these ship tracks are no longer in the Atlantic, allowing the Atlantic Ocean to be cooled because of the cloud cover. Yes, those clouds, those ship tracks from coal burning SO4 and SO2 emissions, they're gone. And that leads to ship track anomalies, or the lack of these clouds, causing the amount of sulfur dioxide emissions to plummet. And there's no more ship tracks. And guess what that means? Record sea surface temperatures, because the sun is now blasting an ocean that was once covered in ship tracks for decades. The levels here now are as low as they were back in 1940. And that is the sea surface temperature story. It's not you, it's not CO2, it's the actual reduction of pollution due to mandates. Can you believe it? And that's a boom to knowledge. But before we go, make sure to tune in tonight over on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, our X or Twitter space, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, No Climate Crisis, at Diamond the Dave and at Truth Shepherd. We'll be hosting the event. Join us for a lively discussion where you can ask questions and get answers on climate change, the modern grand solar minimum, and more. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do and watch all of our content in one place commercial free. Be safe. We love you. And that's a boom. We'll see you soon over at our X space, No Climate Crisis. The link is in the description box.